Hi, everybody. So I'm Ginny, and I am the director of Jack and Jill, and I'm here to show you a tutorial on how to use Family and Friends online practice. Okay, let me share my screen, and I will show you straight away the Family and Friends logon. As you can see, the address is familyandfriends2e.oup online practice. That is always with a 2, even if you're working on level 4. Okay, it's their address. So our login has an email address and a password. The email address is always FNF in small case, and then the number of the level that you're working on. And as you can see, I've got several recorded logins. And the password is, let me show you, Jack and Jill in small case. So I will write that. Jack and Jill, all attached in small case, and I will log in. Okay, this is the teacher website, as you can see. Now, I can look here for my essential information. The essential information I would like to see is, first of all, who is enrolled in my class. I have these students, and these are the email addresses that are connected to each of their accounts. That means that should ever a child say to you, oh, my account's not working, you can check straight away by copying the email address and logging in, not with the FAF4 email address, but with their email address. That will enable you to log in using the same password. We all have the same password, but we don't tell our students that. Okay. And you can do that in front of your students to show them that their account is working, or check it at home if they say to you that their account's not working. Okay, you'll see here that your class code is here, not that you'll really need that, and the institution ID code for Jack and Jill is here. You won't really be needing that either, unless you're enrolling new students. Normally your students are already enrolled for you. If I go back to the Manage Class tab, I can see here that I can hide or show lessons and the units. This is important because students very often just plow through the exercises, loving it, and go way beyond what we've actually taught them and are doing it in a thoughtless manner. We would rather that they advance as we are teaching them so that it really comes in consolidation of what you've done in the class. And so we tick here the units that we haven't yet come to, and that means they won't be able to get to them. Don't forget to save at the bottom. In Manage Classes, I can see the reports. This is important to get your students A, on board doing their online practice, and B, to check that they're actually doing their work. It's very important to do this with the students at the beginning of the class. And I go up, I project, and I say, right, well, this week was Unit 1, and I asked you to do, what did I ask them to do? Well, visibly, I asked them to do the last couple of activities. Generally, there might be, each of these columns corresponds to a lesson in the book. A lesson is 1 page in the book. So you can feasibly get through 2 pages or even 3 pages each week. And therefore you can be asking them to do 3 columns or 2 columns, 2 activities in the week. So therefore I am checking that they've all done it. I can see that Justine hasn't done her homework, and I would ask her, why hasn't she done it? And make a big thing of it. If you're giving out points, which I do, then give out points to all the kids who've done their homework. Look at whether they've got 100%. How long has it taken them online? Justin, you know, everybody else has put 4 minutes and 2 minutes into doing it. Why didn't you do it? This is not going to take you very long. Okay, and if I go all the way down, I can see that Ariane hasn't done her work. I know why she hasn't done her work, because she's since moved into individual classes and moved off this course onto a different course. So this is important, to check their homework and to highlight it in front of the students. That will encourage them to be doing it. And the final thing, if ever you were opening up a brand new start of the year and a new class, you'd have to make sure that show discussion and show messages is ticked. It comes by default unchecked, which will give you this email and forum. Were I to uncheck, if I was to change this, you would see that, and I go into my page. Maybe I didn't save it. Let's have a look. Change, well, maybe it, right, okay, well, that didn't work, but normally if it's not ticked, then you won't see them, and if it is ticked, you will see them. So in this case, that's great. And the communication, as you can see here, is on. I think that this feature was introduced and only recently because a lot of teachers weren't using the email or the forum functions, and it clutters up the homepage. I personally love to use the email and the forum functions, and I'll explain these to you. You can also see reports here. You don't have to go into Manage Classes to see the reports. You can do it here. I can go directly into online practice to demonstrate to the children what I'm going to be asking them to do. I can show them the activities here. And if it's at the beginning of the year, I certainly wouldn't hesitate to put it on, to get the kids to do it with me, to ask different children to do different activities. And I would show them that there is the check function at the bottom, and until you've checked it, it won't register that you've done the work and that you have 3 attempts to improve your score. And I expect them to use all 3 attempts unless they got 100% first time. On online practice, this is where you go to hear the audio in Media Center. Not only do you have the audio, but you have also Fluency Time films, little dialogues to exemplify different notions that are coming up in each session, in each unit. And at the beginning of every unit, you have a story, and here it's animated, which is really nice. You also have Skills Time films for every single unit. The children also have this on their accounts, which means that as homework, you can ask them to re-listen to audio done in the class, re-watch the films. If I also go into online practice, the final tab here is the resources. And these I have to download if I want to look at them. Unit tests must be done at the end of every unit. It's a 1-page test. And if I show you the download, let's have a look. I'll download straight. Whoopla. Let's have a look. Did I download? And I don't mean to. Let's have the unit tests. Okay, right. It's asking me where I want to put them in documents. Let's go there. Okie dokie. If I go here to documents, there they are. And a unit test looks like this. It's a 1-pager, really simple, quite easy to do, and you get the kids to mark it themselves by changing papers with each other. All right, I would put the results into my mark book column on Gibbon, or else into a file on the follow-up document if you're working at the institutes. You also have let's go back into Safari. Where are we? We're here. There we go. Where am I? I'm here. Let's go here. You also have in online practice, I've gone onto a different Safari visibly. Progress tests. Progress tests come at the end of every 3 units. These are more interesting because they're 2-page tests and cover all the work done in the 3 units. The skills tests are even more interesting. They come also at the end of 3 units, and they will also include writing and speaking. The speaking audio and the listening audio, the listening audio is here. Again, all has to be downloaded. Even if you're working in a computer in a school somewhere, you can download them into the computer, put them in a safe place in a Jack and Jill folder, and you've got your documents there. The skills test speaking needs to be organized, obviously, in the classroom, where you would have all of your kids doing the writing part, and then you'll call the children, seating yourself in a corner facing your class, and have your pupils one by one come and sit opposite you. So you've got your eye on the rest of the class, and we'll do the speaking with each child one by one. The email is a wonderful feature. I'll choose anybody's. There we go. Sent. Right. So an email doesn't necessarily look like that. Let's have a look and see if I can get an email that is perhaps more exemplified of what I'd expect. Okay, so an email will look like this. All right, I do a draft email on a Word document, and then I copy paste each week into my email to give my homework, because it's always follows the same format. I ask them to correct the date, because I always make a mistake in my date. I find that a fun way of encouraging them to understand how we write the date. The workbook. There is always work to be given to them in the workbook at home. Online practice, I will ask them to start a conversation on the forum. There is a multi-rum that comes with the Family and Friends course book. A lot of our students no longer have a CD drive on the computers that they're using at home. For those who do, there are audio tracks to listen to that will replay different audio from the course book, and there is interactive games to do, which are different to online practice. So that's yet more consolidation. And then, of course, we always go into My Little Weekly, which is an online journal, which I show you in a different tutorial. We also ask them to make flashcards of all New Year words learned this week. If they're youngsters not yet on their telephones, then they will make the flashcards themselves, English in red, French in blue. And if they're older and on their telephones, then they use the Anki application or the Quizlet app to memorize their vocabulary. Now then, the forum. Let's have a look at the forum. There we go. And there's an example of the email that I would be sending out to my students. And then they will write back to me, and I'll find them here on the inbox. Now, if I go to, I was on Chrome, and I go back to home, and I can go into the forum. I don't think that, yeah, here we go. I haven't started using the forum yet, because this class is brand new on Family and Friends 4. We just changed just before the holidays. However, I will be asking them to write posts. And so a post will be between themselves. The teacher never intervenes on the forum. It's about having conversations and using their English to meaningfully exchange with each other. So if we've been describing each other's physical features, then I might say to them in their homework, start a conversation on the forum. So then they might be saying, my hair is blonde. What color is your hair? And then they will post it. So let's say my hair is blonde. Blonde. What color is your hair? And they post that. It will automatically come up from the person who wrote it. In this case, it's me. And then the students get points for replying to the questions. And so you'll have a whole load of replies where the kids amongst themselves are writing to each other. And actually, they really enjoy it. They get a lot of kudos of seeing their sentences up there with their name up there projected and people writing to them. So it works really well. You're there to supervise to make sure that the content is appropriate and stays in English. Okay. And there we go. You've seen everything there is to see on the Family and Friends website. Hope you enjoy.